YouTube, welcome. We are back. It is March Madness time. We're coming at you some regional breakdowns. I'm starting with the South region here. We're going to be breaking down my favorite dog in the first round, my overall favorite straight up bet in this round. Then I'm going to preview a little bit. We're going to go to my favorite player to watch in this region. I think that who's going to have the biggest impact. And then I'll give you the winner of my region here as well. So only a couple bets will be posted here. Make sure you guys follow over on Twitter if you don't already to grab a couple more. I'm sure I'll post a few more, but I'll have two here. And then obviously I'll have a lot of VIP plays and stuff. So I'll be running a promo to join us for March Madness, which will be really fun. It always is so fun when we get an influx of people jumping in and really celebrating the wins and enjoying basketball with us. So, yeah, I'm really, really excited. This is probably one of my hardest regions to break down. Obviously, you look across the spots here. Let me just pull up my screen here so you guys can see the region with me, and then I will talk about it here with you. I have a couple of them filled out, so don't worry about those. So obviously, we're starting here in the corner with Alabama, Maryland, all these guys here. San Diego State, Charleston. It sucks for me to have to click Charleston to lose that game, but that's a tough matchup with San Diego State. Obviously, very, very distinct differences in offensive philosophy and speed on the Charleston side versus slowing down in defense on San Diego side. We'll talk about this a little bit. I actually will be talking about this in one moment here, and I will talk about that right away. My favorite bet, one I've locked in already, and it's Utah State. They're minus 125. I take them up to 130. You guys know I've been backing these guys quite a bit here down the stretch. And there's reasons why, right? These guys are just so fundamentally strong. Top 30, all right, in points per game, field goal percentage from 2, field goal percentage from 3, top 20 in free throws, top 20 in three-point shooting, right? Everything down the line, Utah State excels at. And we're looking at this Missouri's team. Obviously, they're very, very good. They have a couple studs there. Obviously, Hodge is very, very good. I really like how he plays. But I have to take Utah here, and it's the defense of Missouri that kind of scares me, right? They allow 75 points per game. That is 310th in the country. They are bottom 100 in 2-point field goal percentage allowed, 3-point field goal percentage allowed, bottom 15 in rebounding, and in free throw percentage allowed. So I can't get away from Utah State here. I just love their ability to have like 9 different dudes hit threes in these games. One game that I really thought stuck out to me was that New Mexico game. And obviously you guys know how big of a wagon New Mexico was for me this year. But watching them be able to beat New Mexico pretty handily and play it into their style, right? 91-76. They beat Boise, who's a little bit slower, 72-62. And then they played a very, very, very competitive game against San Diego State, who's very good, obviously scored 57 points only in that game. But they've shown me the ability to play multiple different ways. So I really like that. I like these teams that are I want to make sure I unclick this one. So make sure we're going here, Utah State here. But I like the ability for them to play multiple different styles of games. They can slow it down, score in the half court. When it comes down to these close spread games, right, I think it's a 1-point spread. This is a 10 seed, obviously, so this is technically like a dog, but it's straight pick 'em pretty much 1 point. But so many guys, right? So many different scores that these guys have for us. Let's just look at their top 3, right? They got Ashworth, 16.3 per game, 88% from the line, 44% from 3. Taylor Funk, 13 per game, 90% from the free throw line, 38% from 3. Max Scholga, 12 points, 83% from the line, and 37% from 3. So it's not just one guy, right? Usually these mid-majors or lower level D1s, non-Power 5 D1s, they're not getting as much love. But Utah State is getting the love, and I think that if it wasn't this name, I think it would be like 5-6 point favorites here because they're just that good offensively. I understand Missouri is going to play fast, want to run and gun with you, but Utah State, it's hard for me to stay away from these guys again. If you want to just look at Ken Palm rankings, I know a lot of you guys are going to probably be going there. 13th in adjusted offense, 64th adjusted defense, 108th defensively or in pace. And then we go over to Missouri, 10th adjusted offense, 178 adjusted defense, another top 100 in pace. So I think the defense of Utah State will do just enough. They're a great rebounding team. Obviously, down the stretch, if we're going to look at who's a better free throw shooting team, right? Missouri shoots 75%, but you go over there, they shoot 77, right? I mean, Missouri is 36% from three. Utah State is 40, right? Pretty much everything they're good at. Utah State has shown the ability to be a little bit better in those spots. So sign me up. I really like Utah State to get it done here as a straight bet in the South region to start us off day one. You guys already know where we're going to go for my dog, my first round dog, and what the line I'm going to be taking it at. And I don't know. I want to take him to win. I probably will. But my first round dog is going to be give me the 13 seed Furman at plus 5.5. I can't get away from these guys. I got them at 6 overall, but right now they're 5.5. So I'm just going to go with the 5.5. Just overall in the season, ATS, we have 18 and 13 to Furman. 12, 18, and 2 to Virginia. So obviously way, way, way better ATS for Furman. I always like the points in these lower scoring games. 132.5 is what we're seeing on these sides. And I like that. Obviously, Furman is riding pretty hot right now, right? They've won 3, or they've won what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 straight games. They've played games in the slow pace. They've played fast-paced games. And obviously, I've backed these guys a ton lately. And I think that's going to just continue for me to want to roll with these guys. Furman obviously has Mike Bothwell. I talked about him a lot. You have Slauson as well, who is just fantastic. These guys are very, very efficient shooting team. Again, another team that is just top of the line in a lot of these categories. Top 100 free throw shooting team for Furman. Look over at Virginia. They are 244 in free throws. So if it does stay close, I'm going to back the team here that I like to hit those free throws down the stretch. 14th for Furman in 2-point field goal percentage. Virginia ranked 69th in that category at 42%. But Furman obviously has a lot of different guys who can score. Rebounding, they're pretty similar. Virginia, though, does not offensive rebound the ball very well. Furman does. Furman actually is top 100 in that category. Virginia in offensive rebounding is 303. I think that obviously leads to a nice spot that we could possibly see here. I'm curious to see when Furman gets slowed down in this matchup against a Virginia side, but there's a couple teams in the SoCon that do slow the game down a little bit and have a decent defense. UNC Greensboro is one that comes to mind. They lost one in overtime, 88-80, but they also won 69-57 in there. I think that's a decent comp, not great comp, obviously, because Virginia is going to get a lot better recruits and stuff like that, but I think Furman can play in a slow game. I love the free throw percentage. I love how they can shoot threes. I love how every single part of their game is good. They're not one of those teams that just needs to make the three ball, right? They don't need to. They can, but they're not going to live and die by it, right? So love Slauson, love Bothwell. I think those two guys alone will be able to keep these guys in that game. And if you're going to give me 2 possessions, 2 full possessions, and a team that can't fit free throws to hold that spread, sign me up. I really, really like Furman here to get the job done. I like a money line. I'm going to probably bet them on the money line, but if you're going to give me 5.5 points, that's even better. So I'll be backing them as a dog here. Plus 5.5 is where I'm going to be. Like I said, I got 6. Missed the thing here. I didn't get to post last night on this video, but do really, really like Furman to cover in this first round game. Whew. All right, guys. Last part of the video here. And we are going to go to a team that's actually going to end up playing the team that I want to win in Utah State. Players to watch. And the player to watch, I think, in my opinion, is going to be Omar Ballo for Arizona. And the reason I'm saying this is, I mean, I don't even think he's the best player on his team, right? He's not the best player on his team. You look at this team, you got Ramey on it, Courtney Ramey, you got Tabulis on this team who's averaging 20 a game. But what I really, really like here is what are we going to be seeing in these teams down the road, right? If Baylor and Creighton play, right? If Baylor wins, who's Baylor going to be throwing at in the paint, right? Ballo has had a great season, right? And if he's going to get 32 minutes versus the 26 or 28 that he's been playing, I think he's going to put up some massive numbers here. Let me just look at these games where he's playing 32 minutes, right? So 33 minutes against Arizona State, he went 14 and 10, 70% from the field. We go down, it takes a little bit to find another one, but they played Washington. He went for 21 and 12, right? I mean, doubles galore. Even when they played UCLA, he went for 16 and 8 in a game that was 58-52. I'll be talking about that game here in a second. He's just putting up some pretty big games, right? Creighton, a team that they might play later on in this tournament, 30 and 13 in that game. And those are really important spots for me because obviously you can see up there Baylor and Creighton are that spot right above. And he's doing this and he's performing in games against bigger teams as well. So I like to see him do that against a good team in UCLA, a great team in Creighton. I think that's going to be a fun matchup if they do match up. But I think Baylor probably gets it done. And Baylor's really not rolling out a true center out there. So I think he's the most important one, a player to watch because there's not that many good bigs in this region, right? I'm not taking stuff away from all these guys, but I mean, for them to find a good big, I mean, who are we going to be talking about here, right? I mean, you can look at the top right. I have San Diego State here, West Virginia, Maryland. Bama, I guess, has Miller, but he's not a true center, right? Baylor's not rolling one. We have Kalkbrenner here in Creighton, but they have to get by Baylor first. There's no true center here that should be able to match up with Ballo, and I think he's going to have an absolute stud performance in week one or in game one, in game two. Utah State's not going to be able to hang with them because you obviously got to put a lot of emphasis on Tabulis and Courtney Ramey, but I really like Ballo in this tournament. I just think that this is a perfect matchup for a center who doesn't really have to mess around with a bunch of other bigs and compete there. But that is where I'm going for my players to watch. I think that you're going to hear a lot of talk about the other guys like your Courtney Ramey's and Tabulis. Those two are obviously very, very good players, but I think the most important and the player to watch for me is going to be Ballo. I think he's going to get the job done for Arizona and have to put on a big performance here in the tournament. So maybe I look for more rebounding props. He's had a lot of doubles so far this year, averaging 8.5 rebounds per game on the season. But down the stretch, he's been absolutely fantastic. And I think he continues to do that throughout the tournament. So that will be my player to watch. And who I think is going to win this region, I just talked about him a little bit. And I'm going to talk to Arizona here. I know Bama is by far the favorite to win this round, but I really like this Arizona team. I loved how they played against UCLA, and I know there was foul outs. I know all that, right? You can talk about a lot of different things in that game that didn't come through, but or made it a little bit different. But playing a 61-59 game with UCLA, then playing an 82-73 against UCLA. Obviously, they lost that one, but they beat USC with a 168 total. But they've also shown the ability, if they're slowing down, they get to win those games, right? I mean, there was a scare against Washington State where they won by 5. They had to come back in that game. That's a slower pace game. Again, they played UCLA earlier this year, 158-52, slower pace game. They played a team I'm looking at the tournament teams in here. They beat Montana State, who is a dog that I really do like. They beat them by 21, right? Tennessee, obviously the healthy Tennessee, they beat by 5. They beat San Diego State, who's in this side, 87-70. You look at Creighton, they beat them 81-79. So, I mean, there's a lot of teams that are in this region that they've played, right? If you just look here, right, they beat Creighton already. They beat San Diego State already. Obviously, Bama's going to be very, very tough. But I think some of these matchups are going to be really grueling matchups here. San Diego State, if they make it through, is so slow. They're just going to punch each other in the mouth. I think Arizona is going to have their way with the bottom part of this spot because I like the matchup with Utah State. Like I said, I like the matchup. They already played Creighton in one. I like the matchup with Baylor because Ballo is fantastic and put 30 points on these dudes already. So I like that one. Then I go up to Bama, and if I'm going to get, I'm getting them at plus 360 right now. Let me put that up. I'm getting them at plus 360. In my opinion, in a matchup straight up with Alabama, I'll take those odds. I think that Arizona finds a way to get there. They obviously had the new coach last year, the guy coming from Gonzaga. And I think that this is the second year kind of getting things under the feet here. And they just have so many studs. They're able to score inside and out, and I think that's really important come tournament time. So I do like Arizona to win this region. Again, let me break down my South region breakdown. It is first round dog that I'm rolling with, and that's going to be Furman Paladins plus 5.5. I think that that's a great line for us to get. My favorite bet in the first round is Utah State. I'm going to probably focus more on dogs for those. when I get to the other regions. But Utah State minus 125 as a 10 seed there. My player to watch in this region is going to be Ballo. Like I said, there's just not that much center depth, big time forward depth here in this region. I think that he's going to be able to take advantage of that. And then I think Arizona gets done and finds its way to the Final Four. So I love this. I'm going to keep doing these. Again, I will have these posted out for you guys for every region. I'm going to try to get one out a day. I'm going to obviously have to have one with two, but hopefully you guys are paying attention, locking these in with me. And I really, really like these spots. So thank you guys for tuning in for South Region. I'll be coming back to you guys with another region breakdown here in the next 24 hours. So thank you guys. Appreciate your support. And let's keep killing March.